You're currently watching part 3 in a Halloween YouTube video series I'm doing. There'll be an annotation to part 1 on the left and part 2 on the right, in case you want to watch those videos first. But anyways, get ready for Snapman. Snapman. Nightmares. I never really understood them because I never had them. This is why, when I did, I was surprised. It was like all the horrors of reality seeped into my brain with no way of getting it out. At first, I didn't even know they were nightmares. I would be watching a man from a third perspective. I never saw his face, because he was always turned away from me. But from what I did see, he was handsome. He had straight black hair, about 6 feet 2 inches, like fairly toned. He was always wearing a black suit with a red tie, and it was nice and sunny outside. The birds were chirping. There was a slight breeze. I would see him walking on the sidewalk, trying to hail down a cab. Every time one would stop for him, everything became silent, dark. Then there was a snap. I don't know why, but whenever I heard it, it sent a shiver down my spine. It's not like anything else happens, just a snap. Now, this was a reoccurring dream, happening once or twice a week. Each dream was almost exactly alike. The only difference was a different cab would pull up, and the snap would grow a little louder. A few weeks of continuously having this dream went by. I was in bed one night, thinking if I would have the dream again. A low hum of my fish tank kept me awake for a little while I slowly drifted asleep. The first thing I saw was the man. The dream carried out like usual, almost. Everything played up perfectly, but it seemed the man was walking towards me instead of away like he usually did. Despite the fact that he was facing my direction, I couldn't actually see his face. There's an nicely placed shadow surrounding it like a mask. A yellow cab pulled up from the distance, and he stepped inside it, and it got dark. There was silence. It was the sort of unnerving silence that you get right before something bad is going to happen. Foreshadowing. Sorry, I added that part. It was like the calm before a terrible storm. Nothing happened. I waited and waited, but all I saw was darkness, and all I could hear was an empty silence. Some time went by until I finally heard the snap. What was it? It sounded more like a knock. It was getting more frequent. I woke up and the doorbell rang. Turning over, I looked at the time. It read 4:57. What can someone possibly want at this time of night? I asked myself. After quickly pulling on a pair of track pants and a t-shirt, I cautiously headed downstairs. There was a small stream of light flowing through the frosted window of the front door from the dim street lamp outside. The light reflected onto the floor, illuminating the hallway. After getting downstairs, I fetched the coolness of the tides under my bare feet. I got to the door, but didn't see anybody. Whoever it was must have left. I turned back around to go upstairs when something got my attention. I couldn't see the top. It was as if someone put up a black blanket just above the ending. Put up a black blanket ending just above the last step. I shrugged it off, assuming it was my grogginess getting the better of me. However, I was wrong. Halfway up the stairs, I noticed I could no longer make any progress. I could walk up one step, and then the next, but never actually move forward. It was as if the stairs expanded infinitely to nothingness. Then I heard the snap, slowly turned around, and saw the shadow of the handsome man in my dream. There was only one problem, though. His head was snapping upside down. His eyes were shells of pitch black socket, crimson liquid dripping from the bottom. He also razor sharp teeth. Not even lying. He also razor sharp teeth. Let me just fix the typo. He also had razor sharp teeth, dripping with his saliva. I turned back around and began sprinting up the stairs, still without making progress. I heard him dragging his body up behind me, which made me sprint harder. However, whatever blackness was at the top of the stairs prevented me from getting there. I heard him get closer and closer until I felt a tap on my back that sent me into a panic. Quickly spinning around, I was surprised to see nothing there. It must have been daydreaming. One thing caught my eye, though. There was what looked like a note taped to the outside of the front door window. Recalling what just happened, I didn't remember the note being there. Silently walking back down the stairs, I headed towards this note. Looked around to see if once again anyone was there. Nothing. Slowly I reached for the handle, which was ice cold, and I touched it and unlocked the door. Now outside, I felt the cool fall breeze upon my unprotected arms. I grabbed the note from the door and looked at the paper. It was crumpled up, and the writing looked like a 4-year-old wrote it. "Look up" were the only 2 words scribbled on it. My face went white. I lifted my head. The door slammed shut, locking me outside. Rising from the bottom of the door was the man in the suit. He looked exactly the way he did when I saw him on the stairs. Slowly lifting his hand, he waved, taunting me. Okay, I guess that was like, kind of taunting. Then he turned around and walked towards the stairs. Realizing what he was about to do, I screamed. Don't think I ever screamed that loud before. I screamed until my face turned red. But nothing. It was all silent. It was silent. All I could hear was the rustle of leaves that were scattering all over the ground. I tried to turn the handle, but it was still locked. After slamming the note back on the door, I turned back against it and began to stop. Whatever nightmare I was in, I wanted out. Then I heard it snap. There's like 3 dots after that snap. Snap, ... snap. I tried for the door once again. This time it opened with ease. After opening it, I felt everything get cold. That didn't make sense, though. It was much colder outside than inside. Pushing the thought out of my mind, I ran upstairs towards my parents' room. When I reached it, the door was open. I knocked on it, but got no response. The door's open, you can just walk in. I didn't know what to expect when I walked into the bedroom. Okay, they are going in. It was too dark to see anything conveniently enough. The lights are right next to the bed. I walked towards the bed and saw the silhouette of 2 people in awkward positions laying on the bed. Both of them, both my parents. How? How could we have done this to them? Their heads, barely visible in the dark, were snapped upside down. Their eyes were just shells in a pitch black socket. They both had razor sharp teeth dripping with their saliva. All around the bed were dark stains. I knew what they were, but I tried not to think about it. My dad made a small gurgling sound. I couldn't handle it anymore. Darkness consumed me as I fell to the ground and passed out. Woke up in bed, looking around. I was relieved to see it was just a sick, twisted dream. It was 7:45. It was 7:54. I put on my school clothes and headed downstairs to have some breakfast. While I sat eating at the dimly lit table, I realized my parents weren't up yet. I shrugged it off, remembering they both worked late last night. After breakfast, I got all my books and headed down the hall. While walking, I noticed something ahead that made me stop dead in my tracks. There was a crumpled note taped to the outside of the door. And that was Snapman. And that's all my creepypastas I've got for now. There's nothing else I've got. Let me just check, because sometimes they're things that I misplace, and no, I don't see any. I'm pretty sure I only had 3, and wait, what's this? I only got 3, but there's a 4th one that says Little Evan Anthony. I guess there's gonna be a part 4, but I don't remember getting that one on my computer. I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully.